Hey guys, what's up? Nia here, and today I want to talk about something that I've been asked about a lot and I've been putting it off, and I was getting feedback from some of my friends and followers that I need to do more in-depth, more practical videos about my business, about how to do business, about how to blog, how to start an online business and stuff like that. So they kind of asked me what tools do I use, what specific things I do on a day-to-day basis to grow my digital media company. So in today's video, I want to talk about just that, and I want to disclose, or it's not a secret, but I want to share with you some or most of the, or all of the tools that I use to run my almost 7-figure digital media company, my blogging portfolio, and I hope you enjoyed it. Let's get started right now. All right, so the first tool that I want to mention, and it's probably the most important tool that I use on my day-to-day, and that's called Ahrefs, right? That's an SEO tool and search engine optimization tool that helps you with keyword research, backlink optimization, backlink competitive research, ranking results, audits, and so much more. Obviously, I'm biased because I use it a lot. And by the way, this is not a sponsored video by any of the services that I mentioned here. Any of the tools that I mentioned here on the video are not sponsoring this video. I just want to share with you what I actually use and like. So I just want to point that out. So going back to Ahrefs, that's the main tool that I use on a day. I use it daily, me personally, not my team. I use it personally. The best thing I do with Ahrefs is doing keyword research and finding those low-hanging fruits, phrases that I think we should create content about, that people search online, and then we can create epic content around those topics and get them published on my sites and gain the traffic. So that's the main reason I use Ahrefs, and that made a huge difference in my business. Actually, before I started using Ahrefs, I used all kinds of those free tools, free keyword research tools. They never worked like Ahrefs does. Ahrefs really upped my game. I learned how to use that tool. It's a very powerful tool. The database that they have is, I think, the biggest. Maybe SEMrush is their only competitor, and don't get me wrong, SEMrush is also a great tool, but personally I prefer Ahrefs because of the UX, the UI, the support is amazing. Team, you rock. So I think if you want to get a keyword research tool or a backlink competitors tool, I think you should get Ahrefs, but do your own research. That is just the tool I use. The best thing about Ahrefs, like I said before, is, in my opinion, the keyword research or the keyword explorer tool feature, and that gives me an awesome opportunity to research and find low competition keywords that people are actually looking for on Google, and give my writers the topics that they need to write about so we can publish and gain those rankings and traffic. This is my main purpose of using Ahrefs, the Keyword Research Explorer. I don't build links, I don't buy links. I mean, I try not to do it at all. I know a lot of people do it and spend a lot of time. It's just a different mentality. It's just a different strategy. I focus on content creation much more than I do on anything else. So Ahrefs gives me the keywords that I need to know in my niche. Every site is a different niche, but in this way I can find the keywords, get the topics, pass it along to the writers, and start the process. All right, so the second tool or service that I use to run my portfolio is actually Trello, right? So if you don't know Trello, Trello is an online free to use, I don't know how you call it, like a worksheet or a team managed service. I'm not sure actually how you call Trello, but if you don't know what it is, just Google Trello right now and you'll figure it out in an instant. Basically, what you can do with it is create boards for every project that you want to run, and you can invite people to these boards, and then everyone can see everything that's going on, and you can update everyone on the status. So let's say what I usually do is I start a board for each website in my portfolio, and I invite every relevant person to that board. So that's the writers, the editor, graphic designer, whoever works on the site needs to be on the board. And inside the board, you can create those lists, right? So you can see the progress of your project for every website. So let's say I have website A, I create a board, I invite the team, I give them the topics, I give them the assignments that they need. I need graphic designs, I need editing, I need 10 articles this week on this site, and I use it daily to follow up on the work. If they have questions, they can tag each other there. We can resolve it on the platform itself, on Trello. I like it because it's very easy to use, very simple to use. I don't like complicated things. A lot of people will say Airtable is better, Monday.com, whatever. And I'm sure there's a lot of great features in those other softwares and services, but the main reason I use Trello is because it's simple, it's easy, anyone can understand it. You just browse to Trello and you see instantly what you need to do and what is the status. That's my main tool and I like it very much. All right, so the next service I use to run my portfolio is Upwork, right? I think it's used to call Elance, now it's called Upwork. So if you don't know what Upwork is, I think, the biggest marketplace for freelancers and companies looking to hire freelancers. So if you're a freelancer and you're looking for work, you can create a profile on Upwork and showcase your work, what you can do, fill in the descriptions, your portfolio, your past works, your achievements, your education, whatnot. And companies like me can find you and hire you to do specific work. What I like about Upwork is that obviously there's a huge audience there, so you can find pretty much any freelance that you need for any job, whether it's content writers, graphic designers, SEO guys, PPC, marketing, developers, whatever you need, you can find it there. I've always used Upwork. Obviously, some of my team didn't came from Upwork, but I think the majority does. And over the years, I've been using Upwork for many years now, and I really like the service. Another thing about Upwork that I love is that you can pay your freelancers via Upwork. They have the whole payment system on site, so it's easy enough, you don't have to worry about it. You create milestones, you deposit the funds into Upwork, and they release the funds once you complete the task, or the freelancer complete the task. I think it saves a lot of hassle and a lot of work that maybe some people don't want to do. I really like using Upwork. Most of my team comes from Upwork and I really recommend it. Obviously there are more, there's Fiverr, there's freelancer.com and probably others, but I've used Upwork for many years and I can't recommend it enough. All right, the next service I use to run my portfolio is Payoneer. Now, if you don't know Payoneer is a payment system solution that helps you either get paid by certain companies. Let's say you're not in the US and you work with a company in the US and they want to pay you, but they don't offer payment options outside the US. So Payoneer actually gives you a virtual bank account, and it's a virtual way for you to receive payments from clients all over the world, and then when the money is deposited there, you can withdraw it to your own local bank account. So that's a really good solution. For example, one of my clients is Amazon, right? So when I get paid from Amazon, they actually pay me via Payoneer, and then I withdraw it to my bank account. And I also use it to pay some of my teams that are not on Upwork. I use Payoneer to pay them for their services. It's an awesome service. The support is great, very easy to set up, very simple. And yeah, I use it on a monthly basis. So the next service I use is PayPal. Everybody knows PayPal. Before I started using Payoneer, or in conjunction to Payoneer, I also use PayPal because, what can I say about PayPal? It's easy, it's simple. You can pay freelancers, you can pay if you need microservices, right? And you could pay with PayPal easy. When I do online purchases, most of the time I pay with PayPal. It's just the easiest way, in my opinion, to pay for stuff. And yeah, I use it on a day-to-day. All right, another tool that I use, it's about image compression, and I use a free service that's called TinyPNG. And a lot of people are going to say that there's a lot of other free or paid plugins out there that you can connect to your website that can automatically compress your images and optimize them. But I don't like to use a lot of plugins on my websites. I prefer to use as less as possible. So I told my team right from the bat, for years I've been using this service. Before you upload any image on any website, use TinyPNG to compress that image, to optimize that image, and save a lot of room on your servers this way. So we use it on a daily basis. Every picture that goes up on any of my sites first is optimized by TinyPNG. All right, so another service or tool that I use to run my digital media company is Numbers, right? Numbers by Apple. I think on Windows it's called Excel. I know it's called Excel, but on MacBook it's called Numbers. It's pretty much the same thing, and I use that to track my earnings, to create charts and tables with my expenses and earnings and whatnot, and budgeting, everything that's pretty much related to finance. I use Numbers to keep track of everything. I won't go into much detail about the numbers right now, maybe in the future, but it's a really solid tool and really simple tool to keep track of the numbers, right? A lot of the stuff that we do in advertising and in marketing has to do with numbers and calculations and budgets and stuff like that. So to some people it might sound boring, but when you work in this kind of field, you gotta be on top of your numbers. So I use the Numbers tool to keep track of everything I need financial wise. All right, guys, so the next service that I'm using, and it's probably the most popular service in the whole world, and it's Gmail, right? I use Gmail for business, for all my websites and my company email, right, provider. And I like to communicate via email with my team. I don't like to do a lot of meetings, a lot of Zoom meetings, a lot of phone calls. I think it's a kind of waste of time. I think you can convey everything you need via a short, precise email, and that's the way we mainly communicate on our company. So I use Gmail for business for all my email communications, either with clients, either with the team members, either with users that want to talk to me. So Gmail for business, it costs money, but it's really cost effective. It's really fairly priced, in my opinion. Anyone who has a business, I think, should use Gmail, both for personal use and business wise. So yeah, that's what I use. All right, the next service that I use it's called MailerLite, and that's a newsletter software system that I use on some of my sites to collect subscribers and then send them a weekly or daily email newsletter. I'm not that strong with email marketing. Some companies are much better at that than me, but still on some of the sites I do use that. So MailerLite is my go-to service. I like them because the UX design, the user interface is very simple. It's very easy to set up your forms on your site to get people to sign up to your newsletter. It's very easy to create your actual newsletter that you want to send, to design it. It's a drag and drop kind of platform, so it's very easy to do. Almost anyone can do it. You don't need to code. You don't need to do anything of that kind to get it done. It's very fairly priced, in my opinion. I think you can even use it for free to some degree. And that's what I use to send periodic newsletters, and I've been using them for a long time and I'm very happy. Obviously, there's a lot of other services like that, like MailChimp or whatever, but that is just what I use. All right, another tool I use for my blogging platforms is a service called Canva. And I really like Canva because, again, it's free to use. There's a paid service as well, and you get a lot of other cool features when you do the premium, but you can actually use the free version of Canva, and we mainly use it to create cool feature images for our blogs, for our blog articles. We also use it to create the YouTube thumbnails that you see on my videos. I use it to create presentations if I need to. Everything, logos. I've created logos for my website with Canva. I mean, it's an awesome and easy tool. So it's kind of like a very light version of Photoshop, but very simple to use. So it's kind of like the WordPress of Photoshop, right? If you're not an advanced user that you know how to use Photoshop, Canva is like very easy to use. I highly recommend it, and that's the main purpose that we use it. All right, another tool I use to keep track of my traffic and earnings and a lot of other stuff on a daily basis on a kind of like a high level is Google Data Studio. And I really like this tool because it gives me an option to kind of like compress a lot of data from a lot of other sources, from different sources, into one dashboard, right? So I could create my one dashboard. I log into that dashboard pretty much daily. This gives me a high overview look of my entire portfolio and company. I know the traffic, I know the numbers, I know the figures that are important to me to keep track on. And this way, I can really be on top of everything in one place. Google Data Studio is a really slick and good service to use. It's free to use, so I really recommend it. All right, I can't believe that this is not the first service or tool that I mentioned, but the most obvious one is WordPress, right? I own a digital media company. I own over 20 brands of content websites. So all of my sites, without exceptions, are WordPress sites. That's the content management system that I use. That is the content management system that I recommend for everyone. Don't use anything else. Again, I'm biased, but it's not a sponsor. No one is paying me to say this. I just say what I think. WordPress is the best content management system for blogging, for creating websites, specifically content-based websites. All my sites are WordPress. The thing I love the most is that, again, you don't really need to know how to code. It helps if you know how to code. If you know PHP, it will help you a lot. But even if you don't, you can still use the power of WordPress to your advantage and create epic websites that look awesome and perform awesome on Google search and on any browser. And with the plugins, you get tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of plugins that you can install on your sites, and widget and stuff, and themes. You can pick from thousands of free themes and templates or paid templates and create your unique websites. Honestly, I don't see any other competitor platform that can compete with WordPress, and that's probably the main service that I use daily, and it should have been first, but you know, that's how it is. All right, another service that I use, and obviously anyone who's been blogging for a while will use this service. It's Google Analytics, right? You gotta keep track of your traffic. You gotta know the analytics part of your websites. If you're growing, if you have a big website or many sites, you have to use Google Analytics. If you're not using Google Analytics right now, you should pause this video right now and install Google Analytics on your site. The level of insights and data that it provides at no cost is unparalleled. You can't get better information about your users, your site behavior, and traffic sources, and GEO, and a lot of other stuff in any other service, in my opinion. So Google Analytics is your go-to analytics tool that you need to set up on every website that you create and run. All right, so recently, ever since I started filming YouTube videos and kind of trying to build this activity up, so I've been using a tool called Vidiq, which is an optimization tool to help YouTubers get better impressions and views on YouTube. It helps you with keyword research. It helps you with optimization of your YouTube channel. I've been using it for like a month or two now. So far, I'm happy with the results because I really feel it helps me optimize my channel and see better results. You know, I'm just starting out, so we'll see how it goes. But overall, I'm happy with the service, and it's another service that I use, so I'm mentioning it here. All right, so another tool that I use that is similar to Google Analytics but more related to search engine optimization is the Google Search Console platform, right? This is different from Google Analytics because Analytics gives you data about your websites and about your users once they hit your site. And Google Search Console gives you data about your sites, how they perform on the search, right? On Google search. So it's two very different things, but equally important. And on a personal note, a lot of the data that is displayed on Google Search Console is not very accurate, but it still gives you good value. Obviously it's free, and it gives you good value about what kind of keywords you're trending on, you're ranking on, your position, the impressions that you get on Google search, a lot of technical stuff that you can see only on the Google Search Console platform. So it's still a very valuable tool that you need to use. I wouldn't get caught up on the data there too much, but I still look at it a lot because I want to see the trends. I want to see my impressions, mainly my impressions on the Google search platform. And if you combine this data with the Google Analytics data and the Ahrefs data that I mentioned before, you get like a complete picture of your website performance. And it's a very powerful kind of suite of tools that can help you grow your websites. All right, another service that I use to run my websites is servers, right? You gotta have hosting, you gotta have servers to host your sites on. So over the years, I've used a lot of services, a lot of hosting companies. Right now, most of my sites, most of the big sites are hosted on BigScoots. It's relatively new. I've been using them for like a year now, but Honestly, they're one of the best companies that I had the opportunity to work with. The level of support there is phenomenal. You get a response from a real person within minutes once you reach out to them. It doesn't matter what time of day or night it is. The tech team is excellent. I never had any issues. The gear that I get, the hardware that I get is pretty good for the money that they ask. And overall, I'm very, very happy with the results so far, and I hope it will continue this way. I also use a few different smaller servers for smaller sites that are in construction right now. So over the years, I've used HostGator for kind of like shared hosting environments. I also have one site on DreamHost, which is pretty good. And that pretty much sums it up. Yeah, those are the services that I used. I used to use Bluehost, but I can't recommend it. That is just my personal opinion. I mean, I didn't like their service. I didn't like their support. So I left them many, many years ago. All right, so the last service that I use to run my portfolio of websites is something similar to Quickbooks. It's not called Quickbooks because in my country it's a different platform, it's a different system, but I think most of my audience will understand when I say it's kind of like Quickbooks. It's an invoice generation system, keeps track of all the financial stuff that I need for my accountant, and money goes in, money goes out, all that stuff. So that's the last service that I use. I hope some of you maybe learned a thing or two. I will do a follow-up videos on more in-depth guides and tutorials on the tools that I mentioned here, and you can check out the description below with links to all the services that are mentioned in this video. Again, I want to stress the fact that this video is not sponsored by any of the services mentioned in this video. This is the actual services that I use on a daily basis, and I just love them. I just use them. So I wanted to share with you guys, but I'm not getting paid to mention any of those. So just keep that in mind. All right, so those are the main tools that I use to run my digital media company and create my almost 7-figure business. And I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, please make sure you subscribe below, give me the thumbs up so I know I'm doing something right, and I'll see you in the next video.